Welcome to Why Don't We Dress for Dinner Anymore with our host, Teddi Krochman, senior style icon, and kept together with really fancy safety pins.
Yes, I'm doing a little Versace today. What can I tell you? And my co-host, Melissa Pierce, natural redhead, entrepreneur, and woman of all talents.
So talented. Jack of all trades, master of none.
There you go.
But pretty good at everything.
She's our techie person. That's what I
True.
can say. She's our techie person.
True.
So we hope that all of you had a fabulous holiday season. How was your holiday, Melissa?
You know what? My holiday was great.
Uh-huh.
My adult children came home.
Yeah.
We had a lovely time at Christmas. And then for New Year's, we all went to bed by 10:30.
You sound like me and my husband. We went out to dinner at Shaw's Crab House, which we had never been there before. We had a lovely dinner. Then we got home, I would say it was probably about 10 o'clock or so, and got in our jams. By midnight, we had watched, the countdown in Chicago. And by 10 after midnight, my husband was snoring fast asleep. I was watching some old movies on Turner Classic,
That's
like
right,
I
they
typically
do.
But they flipped the Thin Man on me this year. I think a lot of people complained because they would play the Thin Man episodes all night long or all morning long, like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Excited about those.
Right. They flipped the Thin Man to the morning on New Year's Eve, so people could actually see it more.
So they've reached the point, even in Turner Classics, where people are like, "We're not staying up.
Too old.
We're too old."
That's
so
old.
I love it so much.
I hate the word old. We're using mature.
We're too mature.
We're just too mature to stay up that late. So the holidays were good. We went to the Curio holiday fashion mixer. You were there too. What do you mean you did?
I was like, which
one? She was right there with me. What do you mean you did?
What was I doing? Taking photos.
You were taking photos of me.
I wasn't there. Only in auxiliary.
She was here. Melissa, take a picture of me with this one. Take a picture of me with this one.
Now I know what Carrie Ann signed up for when she was going with all these things.
Carrie Ann replacement. That's all.
Carrie Ann, come back. Someone needs to hold the camera.
Carrie Ann, take a picture of me. But you did get in one cute picture.
I did.
And it actually got a lot of views on my Instagram. It was me and you and 2 young ladies that we met at the mixer. I can't remember their names. Sorry, girls.
Oh, my goodness.
But you want to know what the worst thing was?
Tell me.
So I try to tag all the new people that I meet in the photos on Instagram.
Yes.
So I take down their names. They follow me, that kind of thing. So there was a really cute blonde girl that was sitting next to me.
Uh-oh.
And I tagged her. And she reaches out to me and she says, "Oh, Teddi, that's not me." Then even worse, there's this darling model that I love. And her name is Maxie.
Okay.
And Maxie Noir is, I think, her Instagram handle. She's very pale blonde, beautiful girl, love her. But for some reason, she always looks like this other model that I love named Dawn Amy. So what did I do? I'm in a picture with Maxie at the holiday party, and I tag it as Dawn Amy. So Dawn reaches back to me and says, "Teddi, that's not me. It's Maxie."
Did you blame it on a senior moment? I'm sorry, a mature moment?
No. I said, I have a terrible memory.
You did blame it on a senior moment.
I always had a terrible memory, even in my youth, in my bloom of youth. So I tagged everybody completely wrong. So everybody was tagged wrong. Perfect. But it did get a lot of good views. So that was nice. It was a fun party.
You tagged all these extra people.
But they were people I knew. They were just the wrong people. I have no facial recognition. You're lucky I remember who you are, Melissa.
It's the hair. It's the hair. If I ever wear a wig, you're going to be like, "Who is this jamoke at my door?"
We have to do that, a wig show.
You know what? I always think about doing it, and then I was like, how will people recognize me?
That's okay.
A closet full of
Yeah, we
wigs.
got to do a wig show. We're
do.
definitely going to do a wig show because it really changes the way you look. Your
It does.
hairdo can completely transform your face. And
Yeah.
there's Myrtle, get down, my dog.
Myrtle thought I had something for her because I have my hands out here under the table.
No, Myrtle,
making
there's
that
no treats for you.
expression.
Now knock it off.
I have no treats.
Okay.
All right. So it was great. We're excited to start doing the show again.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah,
Happy New Year from Why Don't We Dress for Dinner Anymore? Which brings me to the next topic, Melissa.
Which is?
We would like to let all of you know that although we are going to continue with our fashion roots and continue to discuss the psychology of fashion and the history of fashion, we've decided, Melissa and I, have decided to broaden the concept of why don't we dress for dinner anymore to include changes other than why have we changed the way we dress. So we're going to talk about changes that are maybe seem outside the realm of fashion, but actually influence the way we dress, like socioeconomic changes.
Right. We're going to look at all of those changes, all of the things that actually do influence how we dress.
Right. Ultimately, they do. They filter down through the system.
Well, certainly. I mean, who are we talking to? And I know you have something you really want to talk about. You were very excited about it. But it was Brittany, the Why Not Petites, where she was talking about the socioeconomic choices she had to make in order to dress up. She's like, well, if I want to wear something cute, all I can afford is something off of Temu or Shine.
Or vintage or something like that.
Or vintage. And she was like, well, those first two options, that's not a good choice for me.
Right.
So she would rather not dress up at all. Right. So that socioeconomic choice changes her fashion. Right. And that's why she's not dressing up. She's like, I'd rather dress down and have people know that I'm thinking sustainably. Right. So it was like a really interesting
the sustainability is a big impact on people's choice for clothing. A lot of people are not opting to go fast fashion because they feel it's going to, pollute our environment in the landfills or, whatever. There's a lot of things that are impacting people's ability to buy better constructed clothes.
Right. And also they're just kind of exhausted.
Exhausted.
We have so much choice and the trends try to move so fast now, especially with social media and how they tear through everything. People are exhausted making those choices.
Right. And I think that Jess Crane also brought that up on one of our podcasts as well, too. She says, you're just so inundated with so many choices on social media. You're flipping through social media and this one is showing that and that one's showing this and there's this and there's that. And it gets to the point where you have so many choices that you just become overwhelmed and kind of close down and think, I don't want to make any choices. I'm just going to wear the same stuff that I'm comfortable in, that I've had. And I have more important things to spend my money on right now than just looking fabulous in fashion.
Right. And let me think about also it's that once you're forced to make a choice and then you're just making your own choice. No, I'm not going to do any of that.
Right.
It's funny because usually dressing out is an expression of agency, right? I'm dressing up. This is my agency. This is who I am.
Right. It shows your success.
Exactly.
Whatever.
But when you're like, I'm not going to make any of these choices, all of this is too much. I'm not going to follow the trends. I'm making a choice to be me and what I have. It's also an expression of agency.
Right.
So it's super interesting how people, how this is.
I'm not going to be forced by social pressures to dress a certain way that I can't afford, that I just don't feel like, choosing or selecting. I have so much stuff to do,
I don't feel comfortable making this choice given the environmental impact. This is not what I stand. It's just really the way people dress is fascinating. And it's just not about putting on something you like or signs of respect. It's so much deeper. And I think Teddy and I really want to get into that deepness and richness.
Get into the weeds
this season.
Yeah.
Because you know what? We're old and we love deep thoughts.
I'm not old. I'm mature.
And we're oh, she's mature.
I don't use the word old. I do not like the word old. Old means useless, worthless, and lost its value. That's the connotation of old. Mature means you are seasoned. You are wiser. You have become, you've come into your who you are. You've come to realize who you really are. And
we're just wise crones.
yes.
And we're going to go with wisdoms.
Right.
I'm not mature. I'm just way wise.
Well,
and Teddi is way, way, way wise.
Yeah,
okay?
I'm mature.
Okay. All right. So you called me and you were really excited about this documentary you watched.
Right.
And you were like, oh, Melissa, this connects to like 1,000 different things.
Right.
We have to talk about it.
Right.
Tell me about it, because I didn't even, after I talked to you, I felt like I watched it. So I didn't watch it. So you have to tell me about it again.
Okay. Now I'm not going to go into all the details that I went in with you, or we'll do a 3-hour podcast.
Right. We're here.
But I will say the light bulb went on in my head. I watched, if any of you have Netflix, I watched it was, I think, a 2-part Jerry Springer documentary. And ultimately what I realized is that silly show that many of you may be familiar from, which did emanate from Chicago. It was filmed in Chicago for many, many years. It was a show that was so outrageous that it became to the point where they had to continue and continue and continue to make their guests and their actions more outrageous every time, or they'd lose their ratings. They actually, believe it or not, Jerry Springer was such a bad show that it was thrown into the like 1-2 o'clock in the morning time slot. And he got some guy that worked on a paper like the National Enquirer, it wasn't the National Enquirer, to run the show. And he's the one that started with these topics. And I'll just name 2 of them that were so outrageous, I couldn't even believe it. One guy had a pet horse that he married and had sex with.
So bestiality on national
television? On national TV. Another one where he confronts a girl, and these are, you could see these people are low intelligence. They've been given alcohol.
So plied with alcohol.
Look the other way when they use drugs. Before they come on, they're worked up, so they have anger.
So they're not using their executive function at all, right?
Nothing.
They're like this is like way shut down.
And these people are actually believing that somehow Jerry Springer is going to help them, when in fact Jerry Springer or anybody on his show had no intention of helping anybody.
Oh, wow.
He had a young girl on who got pregnant by her brother, and he had the brother come on, and he's shaming the brother, and the girl is, I mean, it was horrific, Melissa. All I got to say is it was horrific. But what that led to was the realization, and they do say this at the very end of the show, that Jerry Springer became the impetus for all of these so-called reality shows that we've all become addicted to, like The Real Housewives, where they're constantly arguing, stabbing each other in the back, calling each other names. Trump's show, The Apprentice, which was nothing but a bunch of backbiting, trying to get, to win the particular challenge that they had for the day, and they do anything to each other to undermine each other or whatever.
Why do we love that?
So we have all these shows that are quote unquote reality shows that just do nothing but gin up emotion. And I believe, in my estimation, that is the reason that we have elected a felon, a convicted felon, as our president of the United States, because he says the most outrageous, ridiculous, idiotic thing.
So back up, because you're like, that is the reason. But the reason is because we like the shit show?
Mm-hmm.
Is it because we like the shit show, or because we're numb to the shit show? Or the shit show has become...
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
We like the shit show because it evokes a lot of hostility in us. And, a lot of people live with a lot of pent up hostility. And one of the ways to kind of release or bring that hostility to the forefront is to watch other people arguing, especially people arguing that you disagree with.
Okay. So yes, okay, there's an escape into an emotion that you're allowed to express. It's like watching revenge
It's
fantasies.
vicarious.
Right. People love watching revenge fantasies because they don't do it in their real life and they need an outlet.
But these women on TV, for example, housewives, are all yelling at each other and screaming at each other and backbiting and talking about each other.
Right. It's this like super narcissism.
Right. And we look at them and we judge them and we think, oh, how much better we are. And so you feel a little better about yourself.
But you're saying it's gotten to the point where we've exploited enough of humanity, right? We no longer have resources to exploit. All of the billionaires got them. All we can do is exploit each other, therefore reality TV.
Right.
So you're saying that it has gotten to the point where we have so many emotions about what the government is doing and what it's not doing for us, et cetera. We were like, you know what? Why don't we can elect anyone?
Well,
it could be
and
like
not only that, but
this
think
reality
about it.
TV star.
Trump is getting away saying things that no other presidential candidate in history would get away with. But don't forget, he was a reality star.
He was a reality star.
So a lot of people, you'll hear people.
And he was a reality star who, like, we elected someone who totally squandered his family fortune.
Absolutely. He went bankrupt 4 times.
He's squandered it. We're like, why don't we have this guy run the country?
Yes. He has no governmental experience. He even went bankrupt in a casino where everybody makes money in a casino. The odds are 90 to 10.
I know you don't want to remember it, but he does have government experience. He was president for 4 years.
No, but before that he wasn't, and we elected him.
I didn't elect him.
Well, I didn't either, but I'm just saying we as a people elected him.
Well, somebody elected him, and it certainly wasn't the majority either time, but someone is disaffected. I'm like, wasn't WWE like really popular before Jerry Springer? They got the chair, Jerry Springer,
Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon is one of Donald Trump's best friends. Donald Trump was on the WWE.
Yes.
Donald Trump is appointing Vince McMahon's wife.
I can't.
To a cabinet position.
Okay. Like the next election, though, you have to understand it is such a joke now that the next election, I may also vote for a joke if I'm even allowed to vote anymore, because this is, what the hell? I'm like, oh, maybe Donald Trump will die. And then I was like, no, then his vice president.
JD Vance. Oh,
there is no way in hell.
No.
Holy.
Holy.
So you're saying Jerry Springer is partially to
was a springboard for absurd TV, and we've become so addicted. The word I would use is not inured. We have not become inured to it. We have become addicted to this quote unquote reality based backbiting, name calling,
because
more and more we need. The more drama we have
here,
then we need it to keep being heightened and heightened and heightened and heightened. And Trump understands that, and he knows how to play that.
Right. So you're saying this is basically television gamified our limbic system.
Yes,
absolutely. It just like is our emotional system. We're never regulated because what we just want that next
more and more. It's like a hit. It's like a drug hit.
So then all of these, I see these ads sometimes. The dopamine, what is it? Detox, and this is what this is about: is stopping this. And like,
we need more dopamine hits in our brain. More fights we need to watch. I'm telling you, Melissa,
I hate watching fights.
But here's the thing: I am not proud of this. But this is give you an example of the progression of how we need more and more and more of this hostility and stuff to kind of, gin up our brains. When I first started watching The Real Housewives, the only Real Housewives show that was on was The Real Housewives of Orange County. My niece told me about it, and it was basically like a documentary format where they followed around these people who lived in a gated community in Orange County. And it was kind of natural looking. There wasn't this intensive arguing. It was just these women who live in this community and what they do day to day with their kids and their lives and that kind of thing. But as it started to change cast members, it became more and more contentious, more
Right.
and more where they have like these little cameos where they talk to the camera and they talk against each other. And so they kept ramping it up more and more and more. And as you watched it, because you were used to these characters, you had an investment in these characters. It was almost like a car accident that you can't take your eyes off of. You know how you pass an accident on the expressway and you know you shouldn't slow down and look at it, but you do?
But you do.
It's the same thing. And I am telling you, I am ashamed that I still watch The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and I watch The Real Housewives of New York. And in fact, I watched them last night. And as I watch it, I feel myself getting more and more angrier and angrier and angrier because I think these women are jerks. They talk against each other. They don't support each other. But yet I'm watching it as entertainment.
But yeah, you're watching it as entertainment, right? That's fascinating. Yeah. Whereas I think I love one reality show. It's called Alone. And guess what? All of the contestants are alone the whole time. We're just watching them like fend for themselves to try to win this big pot of money in like a survivalist thing.
Oh my God. Well, why do you think Squid Games is so popular?
I'm scared to death of Squid Games. I don't want to, so I don't watch those, right? Like Michael and I will watch.
Oh, we watch Squid Games.
We will watch Love is Blind up until the point where everyone who's going to peers off before they leave to go to the shit show.
Yeah.
Like we'll watch it when everyone falls in love. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'll read.
You want the happy ending.
I need the happy.
See me, I'll watch them jump right off the cliff. So what I'm saying, although I did not go for Trump, I voted for Kamala. In fact, I voted for Kamala the first time around in the primary.
I also voted for Kamala in the primary.
Yes. But what I'm saying is, if people like us, who we still hang on to our principles, we want a president who we feel has some self-esteem, who has some respect for the government, who has some respect for the people, who is going to be the president of all people, as opposed to Trump, who only helps the red states and he punishes the blue states.
I do want to push back only because the people I know who voted for Trump are also very principled. They just picked an idiot.
No, here's the thing. At least my friends that voted for Trump, this is what they'll say. Oh, he's just all full of that baloney. He doesn't really mean it. He's not going to follow through with it. So they cherry pick. They cherry pick what they like, what he says, and then they dismiss all the other stuff.
Sure. And to some extent, a lot of us do that. And I do remember this. I remember my friend telling me once, she's like, Hillary's going to take all our guns. Trump is just an obnoxious businessman. And I was like, what?
There you go. So
what is that like false equivalency?
Yeah. Hillary's going to take our guns.
She's guns.
Yeah.
She can't help it.
Hillary, the big shooter. But the bottom line is the Jerry Springer show was the springboard for where we're at now politically. I really believe that because we've become so used to loudness, boisterousness, disrespect for the other candidates.
Well, I'm thinking of all of those movies from the early 80s, like The Running Man and RoboCop and all of these ones that the government was like, I'll buy that for $1. It was like a whole, the government was a game show. Even Hunger Games plays into this. The government is a game show.
Yes.
And that's
right.
I feel like we are there.
We are there. And so what Melissa and I would like to discuss in our next episode coming up is, so what does that mean as far as the way we dress? What does that mean as far as the way we consume fashion? What does that mean as far as the direction of fashion? What are all these political implications that are coming at us right now? What are they? How are they going to impact? They're going to impact us socioeconomically. We know that.
Certainly. I mean, we're all already socioeconomically impacted.
It's going to impact the way we look at style because viewpoints, conservative viewpoints, are going to shape us.
And there's going to be a lot of backlash against those things as
Right,
well.
exactly. And so there may be kind of protest kind of wear,
Right.
you know.
This is why I'm looking forward to Scotty's fashion show.
Mhm.
This is why I love looking at Jordan's Instagram,
Mhm.
and all of these people on this spectrum of gender and sexual fluidity.
Yeah.
Because their rebellion is so delicious.
Well, as long as you brought up Scotty, I want to give a little promo to Scotty. Scotty's got a fashion show coming up on Friday, January 31st.
Esplin, right?
It's going to be, if you're in the Chicagoland area, it's going to be at the Stan Mansion. And I have to tell you the name of I think this is very important. The name of his fashion show is called What is Love?
I love it. I love it.
So we're talking about hate right now, right?
We are.
And Scotty is bringing love back into the picture.
And what even is it? What does it mean?
What is love?
Yes.
And I think, I'm assuming in his fashion show, he's going to have people dressed in different expressions of love.
Of what that means.
Yeah.
I love that. That's bringing in his therapeutic work.
Right.
That is bringing in his life experience. Right. That is bringing in his love of fashion, etc. I am here for it.
So we're going to the What is Love fashion show.
Oh, I won't forget that we're going because I'm going to find someone else to take the pictures.
Here, take a picture of me with Scotty
together because it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, it will.
It's going to be fantastic.
It's going to be really great.
And I
think it's going to be, knowing Scotty, I'm sure, because Scotty has tackled harder issues in some of his other fashion shows too.
They have. They did sustainability.
Yeah.
They did recycling. Yeah. And then Scotty, just when we interviewed them, just like the breadth of understanding of the psychology of fashion, to interject more love into it is going to be great. Because I'm sitting here looking at you. I'm like, oh, you're watching a lot of reality TV. How big is your amygdala now? Like, what are you like? Are we getting ready to?
I get too worked up now. That's the thing. I have to wean myself off of these horrid reality shows that I watch, because I become addicted to the anger that I feel after I watch these shows. So I think our next episode is going to incorporate, now how does that affect the way we dress?
How does that affect the way we dress?
The way we interact in society with each other.
Something that I'm really interested in, like just the emotionality of anger, right? Because it's usually the indicator that you want something better.
Yes.
And either people guilt themselves for feeling angry and they come way down here, or they figure out what it is they need and they make a change.
Well, you know what the thing is with me? I think my addiction to these Real Housewives, it's
because you're not working anymore, so you
have because I always used to watch them. Okay. But I think what it makes me, because I've become to the point where I know these shows are totally asinine. And, I want to watch a show where women support each other, women uplift each other. And this is the antithesis of that, right? But I think what keeps me watching is these are very, very wealthy women. And I think because people are having such a difficult time economically, especially young people, I think, to me, I get some satisfaction of watching these women who have money and can buy anything they want, and yet they're still miserable. And so it gives me a little bit of satisfaction to know, even with all your damn money and your influence and your power and your access to things, you're still damn miserable. You're still backbiting. You don't support each other. You don't lift each other up. And maybe it gives me some kind of vicarious feeling that I'm getting back at them.
Wow.
Because you watch this and they humiliate themselves.
Are you saying that the American ideal that has told us that all of us have a purpose in life, that all of us need to be productive at all times, otherwise we are worth nothing,
right?
And that everyone is a secret millionaire who's just down on his luck,
right? That's bullshit.
Is some bullshit, and people are people, and they will do anything to be seen.
Perfect. That's the perfect wrap up to this show. So stay tuned because our next episode will be even more stimulating and will bring this whole topic back down to around
Our next
why we dress the way we do.
right. Our next buddy episode. We might have some episodes in between those.
Yes, we've got some good guests coming up. In fact, we're going to be interviewing Diane Gilman, the Queen of Jeans.
Queen of Jeans. Why was she the Queen of Jeans?
Because she was the biggest selling tele-retailer in history. She sold the most pair of jeans in history on television.
So we wanted
in 1 year, she sold over $100 million in jeans. And you know what? She catered to every size you can think of, which we're going to talk to about Diane even more.
We're going to talk to Diane.
We have Monica Corcoran Harrell, who is an award-winning journalist, puts out a great newsletter with great fashion tips, beauty tips, but also gives little tidbits about her life living as a woman in her 50s and talking about the maturing process and all that kind of stuff. Really good newsletter that's for free. You can get it online. So we're going to be talking to Monica about that. So we've got some really great guests. We also have a physician coming on probably next month sometime. Her name is Astrid Palka. She lives in Switzerland. She is a beautiful cover girl in her 50s. She was recently on the cover of Harper's Bazaar USA.
Yeah, I saw that.
She's been on multiple magazine covers, but she's also a physician, a working physician.
That's wild, and I love it.
Yeah.
I want more stories of people who are absolutely glamorous,
right?
Who have,
but
brains,
they have, professions. Yes, we're talking to very, very smart women.
Not that glamorous women don't have brains, but I like it when
it's the perception that they don't, really,
but they
isn't
contain multitudes, and they are not afraid to let us know.
Right.
So, Teddy, I have a question for you.
What?
Why don't we dress for dinner anymore?
I don't know, Melissa. Why don't we?
We did it.
That's it. Oh,